Thanks for joining us. This is for the Setlist. I'm here with Jesse McCartney.
How are you?
All right, so just to get into the questions, what inspired you to get back into the studio?
Actually, it was a writing camp. I went down to Nashville to work with some friends of mine who are actually country songwriters, and I spent like 2 weeks down there.
Oh, wow.
And just to sort of try something new and do something different that I'd never done before. And once I got back to Los Angeles after that trip, I realized that I missed being in the studio, and I just wanted to get back in and do more pop stuff and do my own records. So that was sort of the catalyst, I think, for me getting back
cool.
in.
Yeah. It's really cool to see like the combining of music genres there. What other sounds have inspired you for this next album or your new music other than country?
I don't know that country was even though it was definitely inspiration to get back in the studio, I don't think that this new sort of collection of songs has any real country sounding elements, but it did inspire the style of songwriting, which is very vulnerable, storytelling, story driven. And I think that lyrically, it's this next collection of music definitely has kind of scratches the surface and tells a little bit more of a story. And I think it's very reminiscent of some of my older stuff. I think people are connecting to the first single, Better With You, because it's very it reminds them a lot of maybe like the Beautiful Soul days.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Who are some of your biggest musical inspirations?
I grew up listening to a lot of different. Elvis Presley was the first record I ever listened to, and I also listened to a lot of Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson and Prince. Prince was a huge inspiration, yeah. And then a lot of female songwriters too: Carole King, Joni Mitchell.
Okay. What kind of stuff inspires your lyrics when you're writing songs?
It depends. Probably just real life experience. I think most writers will tell you that they draw inspiration from just going through real life things, whether that's relationships or any sort of real life experience. And to me, it makes for the most honest songwriting.
Pretty cool. So you just announced that you're touring again. What kind of shows are your favorite to play? Like the smaller shows or the bigger shows?
They both have their charm. Obviously, there's nothing like playing a big arena show. And, I remember the first time I played Madison Square Garden. It's like a historic venue, obviously, and there's nothing like that. There's also something really, really great about being able to interact directly with the fans. And this is going to be a tour. It's going to be like a House of Blues kind of vibe. So it's going to be very intimate. Anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 people, and it's going to be myself and the fans sort of interacting, and you get that intimacy only with smaller shows.
Yeah.
So they both have their great moments.
Yeah. Where is your favorite place to perform or your favorite venue?
That's hard. One of my favorite venues, I'm actually playing on this summer tour coming up, I believe at the end of July. I want to say July 23rd. I'm playing at the Fillmore in San Francisco. And it's a legendary venue.
Yeah.
One of my absolute favorites. It's been there for many, many, many years. And legends have played. The Jimi Hendrix played there. It's one of those places that you can feel when you walk in, like the ghosts of music history are in that room. So I really enjoy playing the Fillmore.
That's pretty cool. Have you played colleges before too?
Tons. University of Delaware is, I think, the last one of my spring season or spring semester this year. But I did probably close to 15 this semester.
That's pretty cool.
And there's a bunch more coming up in the fall, and it's been great. The colleges are great because a lot of my fans are here, and they sort of get a first glimpse at all of the new music. And their reaction has been overwhelmingly positive, so it's fun to play the colleges.
And have you been in Delaware before?
I have been to Delaware. I haven't been in a long time.
Kind of surprising.
I've been, I think, to every state now except for Alaska. But it's just from touring and traveling. Eventually, you usually hit every place.
That makes sense.
You drive through every state at some point. So
that's pretty cool. Where's been your favorite place to visit? Just anywhere in the world?
There's so many places. Most recently, I just went up to Sweden, I took a trip up there in September with my girlfriend, and we did a trip through all of Sweden, northern and southern part of Sweden. Went to Stockholm. We went to we took 10 days and did the entire country, and it's not that big of a European country. So for 10 days, you can really see. We got to soak in the Nordic culture, and
cool.
We ate at a lot of really cool places. And they're a very progressive country, and they just feels like a really successful nation.
What made you pick Sweden to visit?
Sure, Katie's heritage. Her grandparents are from Sweden, and so she has Swedish blood, and we both just love Swedish meatballs. So
it's pretty cool. If you could pick anybody for your dream tour, who would you tour with?
Ooh, right now, I don't know. It would be the most appropriate because our fans are completely different, but it would definitely be a lot of fun to tour with Cardi B. I'm just saying, I just think that would probably be the most exciting tour I've ever done.
Yeah, she's really fun.
She is the funniest person I follow on Instagram.
Yeah, she's pretty funny on Twitter. I think I follow her too. What's your favorite song to play live?
Favorite song to play live? Right at the moment, it's "Better With You." It's my new single, and I think for any artist, the new music is always the most exciting and the most fun. I'm sure for the fans, it's the older stuff, which we play a lot of too. But for me,
you have to get a good mix.
You got to mix it up. But "Better With You" is definitely, it's just the new exciting song right now. So it always changes though.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Do you feel like releasing independently has influenced your career at all?
Has it influenced my career? I don't know that it's influenced my career. I think that it's just a new chapter in my career where at this point I'm at a place where I've been doing this so long. I've put my sort of hours and hours of mastering this subject, and I feel like I have a very good understanding now of how it all works from the creative to the business side of music.
Okay.
And so doing it independently just allows me to have full control of what happens and sort of write the narrative the way I see it.
Have more freedom.
Yeah. And just sort of, pull all the strings. And if things go well, then I can celebrate and say, wow, I did a good job. And if they don't, then I can blame myself and say, well, maybe I shouldn't have done this independently. But there's just a lot more. I can have free reign and just total control of how the story goes, which I really, really love.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a lot of artists struggle with that.
It's something that is just when you're with a major label, you have a lot of negotiating and a lot of compromise, and compromise is not something that's a lot of fun for artists when they have a clear vision in their head. So it can be tough for sure, but it's one of those push and pull situations. And
do you feel like social media has impacted the music industry?
Of course it has. Social media is one of those things that it's great. It can be awful, but it can be really great in many ways because you have I love it because I have instant access to my fans. I don't need a marketing company necessarily. I mean, I do have a marketing company and they're great, but you don't need, your best form of marketing because it's right at your fingertips and you can immediately access all of your fans and you can get their feedback incredibly fast. And you kind of know where you stand with your core. So I love that aspect. In some ways, in some regards, I think social media has impacted it negatively in ways that, music either gets leaked or they don't get the best quality sounding, the best quality of a certain song that comes out, or it can be one of those things where people love to hate right away before they hear the entire project. I mean, luckily for me on this song, like the reviews have been really great, but I've been on the other side of it. So it's kind of a hate-love thing with social media, but it's a necessary evil. It's like, Instagram and Snapchat are not going away anytime soon.
Definitely not. So. They're too big.
Yeah.
So what got you into acting?
I started as a theater guy. I started in New York as doing a lot of theater with my family. It was like sort of a family affair, and eventually my mother took me into the city, and I was doing. All of a sudden, I was doing Broadway touring, and it was sort of the beginning of my career in music and acting on stage and doing stage acting. And then eventually, it just kind of my whole career has just been about variety and doing different things. I've never, as as much as I've been known for music, you know, I have people that will come up to me that are like, "Are you the voice of this on Kingdom Hearts, or do you do this video game?" Like, I do a lot of sort of off the beaten path stuff.
Kind of stuff.
And so yeah, I mean, acting's just another one of those outlets, creative outlets for me to just sort of express myself.
And what was your favorite guest starring role?
Most recently, I did a role called Fear the Walking Dead, where I played this like sort of big, shaggy, like not very well put together pirate who's like in this apocalyptic world who jumps aboard a ship, like gun toting and, you know, like holding people hostage. And it was a very intense, sort of dramatic character.
Yeah.
And something I hadn't done in a very long time. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun.
Do you have any stories from your Disney Channel days?
Any stories? Man, that was a while ago. I mean, nothing specific. I think that, you know, working, I think, you know, people loved Hannah Montana, and working with Miley is still like one of those things that everyone talks about, and it really was like at that moment like one of the most fun experiences. She's such a sweetheart, and I've always loved her. She's just a true artist, and somebody who's just real and passionate, and it was a lot of fun working with her. And in many ways, after that show, things for Beautiful Soul and things with my music in general just became just elevated after that. So a lot of gratitude towards Miley and that whole time in my life.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I know a lot of UD students and college students in general kind of grew up watching Disney Channel and listening to your music. So thank you so much for